Gobble, gobble, gobble. Today's video, I'm going to show you how to make this super cute turkey. Now, this is a perfect little turkey for decorating around your house, but it's also a coaster. And it has this nice little ridge that you can set your glass or your can or whatever you're drinking from, and it will keep it from sliding off the coaster. Now, I made today's turkey in kind of muted colors, but for the video, I'm going to be using a little bit darker brown. This is that latte from Red Heart. I'm going to be using some of the Red Heart, kind of a fall color that I have on hand. I don't know the name of this because I've had it a couple of years, but it's the Red Heart Autumn, I think, or something like that. And then I'm going to be using this bright yellow for the little beak. And then, of course, a little touch of black. And these are all worsted weight number 4 yarns that we're going to be using for the demonstration. Now, this is a free pattern on my blog. And, of course, you can go there and get the stitch counts and the pattern. Print that off or just use it right off your iPad or your phone. It's really fun and really easy to make. And you can whip up a whole bunch of these. I think this would be perfect if you're having a big group over for Thanksgiving or even any holiday around the holidays meal, and use these as place markers. You could always embroidery a name or an initial right here in the center, and it would tell everyone where they sit, and then when the meal was over or the party, everyone could take one of these fun little turkeys home. So, are you ready to gobble, gobble, gobble till you wobble, wobble, wobble? Alrighty then, let's get started. You're going to need your H hook, and I've got my favorite purple H hook. You're going to need a needle with a nice big eye for stitching the eye on and weaving in your ends. You'll need a pair of scissors, of course. We'll set those aside. And we're going to start with the center of our turkey, and we're going to start with our solid brown color. I chose this one because it's become one of my favorite colors for working with like animals and turkeys and gingerbread. I call it my gingerbread brown, but it's actually the Red Heart. I think it's called Latte. Alrighty, so the first thing we're going to do, let me grab my notes and turn over here just so I can make sure I tell you right. We're going to chain 5. So let's make our slip knot, pop that on our hook, and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to place 9 double crochets in the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason we do that is our first 3 chains counts as our first double crochet. And so we're going to place 9 more double crochets in the same chain. It's the 4th chain from the hook. All right. Some yarn out there. All right, let's see what we got here. Here's our chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do 2 more. So we'll have a total of 10 double crochets. 9 double crochets plus that chain 3 counts as 10 double crochets. So we're going to join to the top of this chain 3 with a slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and this chain 3 also counts as a double crochet. And then we're going to place another double crochet in that same stitch as our chain 3. And then we're going to place 2 double crochets in each double crochet around. And that will give us 20 double crochets. So we've stitched 2 double crochets in each double crochet around. And now we're going to join to the top of that chain 3 again like we did in our first row. And chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now you'll notice there's a little hole in the center. And I'll show you how to close that after we finish our turkey. So don't let that panic you. It's a really simple fix. All right, so let's go ahead and do row 3. So what we're going to do is our first chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. So then we're going to place 1 double crochet in the same stitch as that double crochet, just like we did on the first row. And then in the next double crochet, we're going to only stitch 1. And then we'll repeat 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next stitch. And we're going to repeat 2 and 1, 2 and 1 all the way around our circle. So here's 1 double crochet and then 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And this is going to give us a total of 30 double crochets. So we're going to do 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next stitch, all the way around for 30 stitches. Okay, so we have stitched 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, repeating that all the way around this row. And now we're going to join to the top of that chain 3 again. Only this time we're only going to chain 2. 1, 2. And that's because we're going to be stitching a row of half double crochets around. And this is our row that we did on here, right here, that has this edge that makes your cup keep from sliding off your coaster. Now, if you don't want to put that on there, this particular row, you don't have to. But I like it on there. So there's 2 ways that you can do it. You can do it with the edge of the half double crochet around or not. And the way we do the half double crochet row, if you'll notice, on your top of your row all the way around, you have this braid looking thing. You have a front loop and a back loop. The front loop is always the loop that's facing you. The back loop is always the loop that's facing away. So what we're going to do is we're going to stitch in the front loops only. And that's because when we come back around and stitch this row, putting on the legs and all the feathers and then the head, we're going to be stitching in the back loops. So 1/2 double crochet in each front loop all the way around. And a half double crochet, you 1 loop over your hook, stitch only in the front loop, draw a loop through, yarn over, and go through all 3 of those loops. And this just gives us that edge that I showed you on the other turkey. And you'll see it'll stand up nice, and it might curl in just a little bit, but that's okay. So I'm stitching half double crochets in each stitch around, and you'll see as you stitch your front loops, this loop right back here is left unstitched because that's the stitch we're going to use to make the feathers and the neck, the feet, and the edging. So 1/2 double crochet, working in the front loops only in each double crochet around. So we've stitched in our front loops all the way around for that little lip or edge that holds our glass. And what we're going to do is we're going to join to the top of that chain 2, and we're going to tie off. All right. And what you need to do at this point, we're going to take care of this little hole. So turn it over and thread that tail that you started with on your needle. And we're going to go around the stitches that we made at first, like this. Let me turn that. just like that, going all the way around, and just gently pull on that. I like to go all the way around, make sure it's closed, and then I turn and go the other direction. Couple of stitches, and then cut that baby off. And that closed our hole, made it nice and flat. And now we also need to go ahead and tie in this piece, because we're going to be changing colors and we're going to be joining to this lower row. So what I do is I just go right back in there where I was working, and I go to the bottom here, and I just work those stitches in a little bit, and then go side to side like that way, and then I turn and go right back that way through a few stitches, and then I cut that off. And so now we actually have a fun little round coaster that we can use for anything. But it's not done for us yet, because we want to add all the turkey to it. So here we've completed our little coaster. And the truth is, this makes a fine little coaster just like it is, and would work perfect to hold any cup, drink, or wine glass. But we're going to make it into this fun little turkey. And what we're going to do is we're going to join our yarn on here. And you can join on any of the back loops from R3, anywhere you want to. And we're going to start here. We're going to make these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 feathers. Then we'll slip stitch around. We'll make the head. We'll slip stitch around, and we'll make the little feet, and then we'll join back here. And then after that, we'll make the little beak and the eyes separate. So let's go ahead and get moving here. Gobble, gobble, gobble. All right, I'm going to join my yarn right here. Just pull your yarn in and make a slip stitch. And then we're going to slip stitch in the next stitch and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then in the next stitch, we're going to make 2 triple crochets. And the way you do that is you yarn over twice. You have 3 loops on there. You'll go in that next stitch, pull a loop up. Then you'll yarn over and go through the first 2. Yarn over, go through the second 2. Yarn over, go through the last 2. And we're going to make another one. 2 loops, 2 yarn overs. Pull our loop up, yarn over, go through the first 2. Yarn over, go through the second 2. Yarn over, go through the last 2. Then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to join to the next stitch with a slip stitch. And now we've made a feather. So then we're going to repeat that. We're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to make 2 triples in the next stitch. Then we'll chain 3. 1, 2. Whoops. There we go. My yarn got stuck. And we're going to put that slip stitch in the next stitch. And you can see we're starting to make our feathers. And we're going to repeat this. We did 2. We're going to repeat this 3 more times to make 5 feathers. So now you can see we made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 feathers. And I'm really liking this bright autumn color here. It looks really pretty. Although I really love this one too, in these muted colors. But I'm really loving this bright, with this bright autumn colors. Alright, so we're going to slip stitch in the next 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do the exact same thing we did for the feathers to form the head. So we're going to make 2 triples in the next stitch. 1, 2, And then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll slip stitch in that next stitch. And this is how our little head is formed. All right. So now we have our feathers and we have our little head. And the next thing we need to do is we're going to slip stitch down a little, and then we're going to make 2 of the legs. And I'll show you how those are made. So we're going to slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. Now, if you'll notice, mine has more than 2 stitches here. And I just placed them lower. It's up to you if you want to go a little farther. This one is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I did 1, 2, 3. Let's do 4, 5. Now, I originally wrote the pattern for just 2 because I wanted the feet to be sticking out this way. And then when I updated it, I made them go down a little bit farther so that the legs stick out a little bit lower. It's totally up to you where you want to place your legs. All right, and the way we do our legs is we chain 4. 1, 2, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to do a double crochet. And it says to do a double crochet in the second chain from the hook. So 1, 2. There's our double crochet. And then slip stitch in the last 3 stitches. So we got 1, 2, and then we're going to slip stitch onto the turkey body in the next stitch. And there you have a little leg. And then we're going to chain, not chain, but slip stitch 2, 1, 2, and then we'll repeat that. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll double crochet in the second chain from the hook. And then slip stitch 1, 2, and then slip stitch back on the body. There we go. Cute little legs. And then we'll just slip stitch back and chain, join to that first slip stitch. All right, so let me cut that off. We'll tie that off and lay that out so that you can see it. Let's put those strings behind. Those need to be tidied up. All right, now here we have our head. Here we have our little funny feet and our feathers. So there's our turkey. But he needs a little eye, and he also needs a little beak. So let's do our beak. To do the beak, you're going to join to the center of that first triple crochet. And chain 2, 1, 2. And then we're going to half double crochet right in that same stitch. And then join to the next stitch and tie off. Oops, there we go. And of course we'll have to weave that in, and that just gives him a little beak. And then the last thing we need to do is give him an eye. And the way I did the eye is I just took a little piece of black yarn, and you just go up in that stitch just like that, and I did it twice. I went up and then back down, just like that. All right, now I have some tidying up to do, and I'll get right back to you. So you can see I tidied up, woven in, however you say it, all my ends. I call it tidying up because sewn all my ends in, got my turkey all ready, and he's ready to place on the table. Now, if you're going to embroidery a letter or initial, I would do it with just straight stitches and maybe black yarn or white yarn. And the truth is, if they don't want them there, if you do it nice and loose, they can clip it and just pull it out. But these are perfect to set on your Thanksgiving table or your festive table. They work for coffee cups, for glasses, and they're so much fun. So make a bunch.